Hello YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel. So if you are new here, my name is Lexi. Thank you for stumbling across my channel and video. And if you are not new here, know that I appreciate you so much. Seriously, you guys who watch my videos religiously and comment, like, it does not go unnoticed. I love the fact that I feel like it's always like the same religious people that like comment all the time on my videos, and I absolutely love you guys. I always try to respond to every comment, so if I don't, it is don't take it personal. It's just I probably didn't see it, but I always try to respond. But welcome back to my channel, you guys. So in today's video, we are going to we're gonna talk about a lot. So as always, my goal with my YouTube videos is to provide entertainment and also to provide value. That's always what I want to do, and I always want you guys to take away something from my videos. So in today's video, I'm gonna talk about a lot of different things actually. First and foremost, I get this request all the time, and I have definitely talked about it before, like a long time ago on my YouTube channel, about how to take progress pictures. So I will talk about that in this video because I get questions from people all the time of like how to take progress pictures properly, how to get the lighting right, like all that stuff, how to get the angle right, all that jazz. So I'll talk a little bit about that. I also want to talk about how to handle the shitty days in prep. So those of you who are new here may not know, well, you'll pick up on it if you watch more of my channel videos, but I am in prep for a bodybuilding competition. Still no show date, but I am definitely kind of getting, you know, I'm probably like 6 pounds away from my stage weight if I had to guess. So still got a little ways to go, but definitely, you know, grinding a little bit. And I've had a lot more good days than bad days, don't get me wrong. But I want to talk about how to cope with like just the downright, pardon my French, shitty days, because we all have them in prep, right? And I think it's important to talk about, you know, prep is not all rainbows and unicorns and sunshine. So I want to talk about kind of how I cope with the really tough days and kind of some mindset things that I do to cope and get through those days. And then I also want to talk to you about a little update because I did have a appointment yesterday with my holistic naturopathic doctor who we did a follow-up. And so those of you who have been following along with like my thyroid and my gut journey, I have some really cool like news. Like, so yesterday we met, and it was just a really cool appointment, and she was like really impressed and proud with how dramatic just all of my health markers have improved. And one of the big things we have done is stress management, and I don't think a lot of people realize how much that can wreak havoc on so many things internally in your body. I'm not saying I healed my thyroid and my gut just strictly by like stress. However, I know that if I did not focus on my stress management, I probably wouldn't have healed them to the, you know, to the severity that I did. So I'm going to talk a lot about that because it's very interesting. But for now, welcome to my channel. Enjoy this video, and I will catch you guys in a bit. Okay, friends, so we are going to first talk about progress pictures. So again, so many people ask me if I can talk about this, and truth be told, taking progress pictures is not that complicated, you guys. Like, I hate to say it's not that complicated, but I'm gonna give you guys some of my tips, and also we're gonna talk about lighting, we're gonna talk about the angle, and also how to take progress pictures. Sorry if you hear that. It's a cruise ship outside of, I live near a cruise port, and the cruise ship always does this. I'm always filming and it like honks its horn, I guess. I don't know. So if you heard that, that's what it was. But I'm going to talk about how to also take them if you live alone, because I've also had like clients before tell me, oh, I couldn't take my pictures today because like my husband wasn't home or I didn't have anybody to take them. And I'm like, well, I have always taken my own progress pictures, and there's a little hack. All you gotta do is you gotta put the video on your camera, and I always recommend using the back camera because the back camera is gonna be better quality than the front camera of your phone. Take a video, stand in front of it, and do your poses, and then screenshot from there. So that's tip number one. Second off though, let's talk about lighting, because I think this is a really big one. So where I'm standing right now is in front of my windows of my apartment. So I only have windows on one side. I live in a studio. So the lighting is really good here. But notice, if I stand and I change my angle here, I have my windows on the side, and I have the windows are to the side of me. Notice how this changes my coloring. Now, it may not make a difference, and you may not think it makes much of a difference, like, you know, just with me talking right now, but when you are taking progress pictures, ooh, I'm really bright there, it's gonna make a difference in the way that your coach is able to see your physique, right? So here, like, this lighting is really good compared to this, which would kind of shadow and wash out my physique, right? So you guys can see the difference. And then what you never want to do is you never want the window behind you, because see how shadowy I look and dark? So imagine sending a picture to your coach with the window behind you looking like this. Like, it is gonna be very hard for your coach to see your visual progress, and you may get kind of frustrated with your pictures because, you know, when you're seeing yourself so dark like that, you're not seeing, you know, the definition, and you're just gonna, your physique is gonna look all shadowy. So that's the key with lighting. Always make sure you have a natural light source in front of you, and you really don't want a natural light source to the side of you or behind you. That is the worst. Now, if you don't have a good natural light source, just get a ring light. That's the next best thing. A ring light will kind of give you that kind of that fake light, but it still does the trick. So that is the tip with lighting. Now let me show you guys something else that I do recommend. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys this tripod. So actually, don't ask me where I got this. I think my mom gave it to me, but it's just a simple tripod. I can put my phone right in here, and it holds up my phone, and it makes it really easy to just take progress pictures. So I always use this, but you don't have to get one of these. It makes it easy. I mean, you can always prop your phone up against something else. And then if you are a bikini competitor specifically, I highly recommend taking your progress pictures at a certain level. Think about how the judges see you. So you always want to I like to take my progress pictures and have the camera set around like kind of like that knee height, or maybe a little above that, because that's the height that the judges see you at. So that is a little trick. I would highly recommend getting a tripod. Again, you don't need one, but it just makes like propping your camera up a lot easier. So those are my little progress picture tips. Like I said, it's not that complicated. I think some people overcomplicate it, but I think the biggest thing you have to really get correct when you take progress pictures is the lighting. And you have to realize, like, if your coach is telling you that, you know, you need to take better progress pictures, it's not because they're being mean. It's because at the end of the day, that's how we do our jobs as a coach. Like, I say we because I am a coach. And also, I am a client, so like I know that if I send my coach really bad progress pictures, he's not going to be able to really make changes, because it's going to be hard to really see my physique for what it is, right? So those are my little hacks for progress pictures. Not that they're really hacks, but just my tips for lighting, kind of how to set up things, and then also, like I said, if you're taking your progress pictures by yourself, which I think most people do, just put the back camera on your phone. You can take them on the front camera. The back camera though is just a lot better quality. Start a video, stand in front of it, boom, screenshot from there, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna make a meal. I'll show you guys what I'm making. If you saw my last full day of eating a video, it's exactly one of the meals on there, but I'm gonna make a meal. I'll show you guys what it is. I actually really like it, even though it's super simple. And then we will chat a little bit more. Okay, real quickly, because I know you guys always like seeing what I eat and like the food content. This is not a very pretty aesthetic meal. It's just, oh god, it looks sad. Well, it doesn't look bad. It just like, this is like, it's like kind of hard to show it. I've got 3 egg whites, hard-boiled, and one whole hard-boiled egg. And then I've got some peas and some salt and some nutritional yeast in here. And then I had I would get it out now, but it's gonna I'm gonna knock my camera off and open my cabinet. And then I had an everything but the bagel rice cake. So if you guys saw my last full day of eating, this meal will look pretty familiar, except I can't remember, it may have been a little different in the last week's full day of eating, but I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm like making my meals, like measuring things out and putting it into the bowl, I have a tendency to like eat it as I go, and then by the time I sit down to eat it, there's not a lot left. I'm so bad at that, but that is what I'm eating right now. So I will pop back on here. I'm gonna clean up, and then I do want to chat a little bit about how to cope with the tough days in prep, because I feel like this is a very important topic to talk about, and I hope that you guys get some little tidbits. I just want to give you guys some advice of some things I do when I'm really struggling in prep, or just even having an off day. And I think this can help anybody, even if you're not in bikini prep or prep for a bodybuilding show, even if you're just like you know, having a bad day and you're in a fat loss phase and you're a lifestyle client. So I'll talk to you guys about that in a sec, but first let me eat my meal, let me clean up, and then we'll chat. So now for real talk, because I was filming earlier and I told you guys I was gonna talk about how I how I make it through the really tough days in prep. And honestly, today was like started off really great, but it's becoming a little harder. I'm fine. It's just like I feel like I'm very, very like food focused. You know, I'm a snacker by nature, right? Obviously not in prep, like I don't snack, but that's just kind of my natural tendency when I'm not in prep. Like I am kind of a snacker. Like I'm somebody that it would much rather which isn't like really that great, but like I'm a little snacker throughout the day rather than like a meal person. Like I try not to be that way, but like growing up, that's always how I was. It's always in my nature. So like right now, I'm like, oh my God, like I would just, like most bikini girls, I feel like dream of like cookies and peanut butter and like all that stuff, but literally all I want right now is just like, I just want infinite rice cakes so badly right now, but I'm not gonna give in, discipline. So it's honestly, right now, it's not like a hard day in the sense of like energy levels. Like I feel fine energy wise. I'm just very food focused, and like the food aspect is a little bit harder today, but just sharing that with you guys. So I want to, first off, I have to tell you guys a funny story. So last night, I am kind of like, I'm not a super deep sleeper, but I'm not a super light sleeper. And I always have a fan on and I have a studio, right? So I'm setting the scene. And I live in a studio. My bed it's not like right next to the front door, but it's nearby. And I was like, I heard something in the hallway last night and it woke me up. And granted, like this never happens. My apartment's usually pretty quiet. And I was like, oh, okay. And it sounded like, two friends or something. And I could hear their keys. And it sounded like it was like my neighbor right next to me, just like trying to unlock her door. And then it kept persisting. Like I kept hearing these keys rattling. I'm like, wait a sec. Someone's trying to unlock my door. So I stand up and I look through the little peephole of my door, and sure enough, there's these two girls, probably like my age, and obviously it's 2 a.m. One can imagine they were under the influence, and they're like trying to unlock my door, and I'm like 2 a.m. rolling out of bed. And so like I don't open the door, but I talk through the door and I'm like, you have the wrong apartment. And then they're like kind of confused, and then they like ran off. But I was like, that was so, oh my God, whatever. But anyways, random story. So I want to talk to you guys about how I make it through the tough AF days in prep. So they're inevitable. Like at the end of the day, if you are prepping, you're gonna have them at some point. And I would say for me, prep is very like up and down. I feel like some days are really, really good and some days are really, really tough. Like there's no kind of like midline, if that makes sense. But the tough days always make me appreciate the good days that much more. Like if I have a really tough day and I wake up the next day and it's a really great day, like I am just always finding myself appreciating it so much more. So I always tell everybody, my clients, that the tough days make you tougher. And like the cool thing is, guess what? You survived 100% of your tough days, or the toughest days of your life so far. So that's cool, right? But the tough days, like they humble us, they make you tougher, they build character. And so that's what I always remind myself of when I'm having tough days. And I also always tell myself, okay, Lexi, like because you're having a tough day today does not mean it's going to be this exact way tomorrow and like the rest of prep, right? I think sometimes we fall guilty or we fall trapped into thinking like, oh my God, this is such a tough day and I'm still 7 weeks out or whatever it may be. And it can be tough to think like, oh my God, how am I going to endure this for 7 more weeks? But it's not always going to be that way. I find that for the majority of people, like myself included, prep comes in waves. Like you may have a really tough day, the next day could be the best day of your life. You may have a really tough week, the next week could be the best week of your life, right? I mean, that's a little extreme, but you guys get the point. So those are some things I always remind myself when I'm having a really tough day. And then I always tell myself also that like the tough days are what make getting on stage so rewarding, right? When you really put it into perspective, if prep was a breeze in the park, like if prepping for a bodybuilding show was a breeze in the park, when you get on, like by the time you got on stage, it wouldn't even feel rewarding, right? Like it would just kind of feel like, oh, here I am, right? Like because this is so hard, it makes getting on stage so rewarding. And I think that's one thing we have to remember. Like this is a extreme sport, and when you think about other extreme sports out there, like think of professional football players, professional hockey players, Olympic level gymnasts, like they all they're doing an extreme sport too. And the reason that they are the best is because they live their day-to-day life in ways that most people don't, right? And so same for a bodybuilder, right? Like today, oh my God, I was with some people. I would have loved to just like have, all the food that they were having, but I know that the food is always going to be there. And I know that what my goals are right now. And I know that like right now I am I'm in extreme athlete mode, meaning that I am prepping for a show. I'm going to get on stage. I am in full on bodybuilder mode. Therefore, I'm going to have to make different decisions in my day-to-day life than those around me, right? And I have to be okay with that. I'm choosing to do this, right? So I know for a fact when I get on stage, I am going to feel so proud just, because of all these like tough days that, that we endure in prep, but also because of all that madness I went through at the beginning of the year with my gut health and my thyroid and all that jazz. All right, you guys, don't mind this dirty mirror, but I'm excited because I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit more vascular up top. And my shoulder cap is starting to pop through, which it's always exciting when you see new lines. It always makes the tough days even tougher. But yes, I feel like the lighting doesn't do it justice, but we're starting to get it, which is super cool. If I flex really hard, you can see it. But yeah, this makes it, like when you start to see these changes in your body, it makes the tough days so worth it. Hello, friends. What's up? It is now the next day. Yeah, yesterday was just kind of a little bit of a tougher day. I went to bed, but I'm gonna be completely transparent with you guys. It is now the next day. Yesterday was a rest day, and sometimes I feel like the tougher days on prep are almost the days where I have like less going on, right? So rest days, sometimes that makes sense for me. But even though I had a rest day yesterday, I just do not feel super well rested today. I don't know what it is. I just feel a little like, I don't know, a little hazy, even though I slept really good. So I'm gonna document this because I have been putting off my cardio all morning. I've been working, I had a client call, and which all that has been lovely and great, but now I've been putting off cardio, so now I need to do my 45-minute Peloton class, and I've been procrastinating it, so I'll check in with you guys afterwards because I know I'm gonna feel so much better, but feeling a little run down today. It is a refeed day today though, so that's good. So it's my high carb day. I get one per week. My weight this morning was the same it was yesterday, which I'll take that as a win. Like, hey, it's not going up, so that's good. And sometimes, as you get deeper into prep and you get smaller and smaller, like your weight drops are not going to be every day, right? So I'll take the same weight as a win. But I need to do my cardio. I wish I could have somebody right here that's just like, Lexi, do it. But I will do it. I've just been procrastinating it all morning. So we're gonna get it done, and I'm sure even if I don't feel amazing during it, who knows, maybe I will surprise myself. I'll report back afterwards, because sometimes I go into my Peloton rides and I'll feel kind of like tired and run down, but it's a great ride. So maybe I'll surprise myself. I will report back later. Okay, so I did indeed make it through cardio. Yay, I just did not film myself afterwards because homegirl was looking very rough. I mean, I feel like I already look rough, but I was looking extra rough. So I did make it through, obviously. And it honestly was a really good cardio session. Like I said in the last clip, sometimes that happens where I feel really tired beforehand, but then I get on my bike and I start my cardio and my body doesn't feel tired. I think today it was more so like I'm just like maybe mentally tired. Sometimes when you feel tired, but your body isn't tired, and then sometimes it's vice versa. Like your body just feels heavy and tired, but you don't mentally feel tired. I think that's what it is. But it is a high carb day, refeed day, and oh my gosh, I have to show you guys. You guys know me. I love my rice cakes. These are the everything but the bagel ones. I either like these or the white cheddar ones. So good. So refeed days, of course, mean more rice cakes, which means happy Lexi. But I'm getting ready to go train legs, and I wanted to wrap up this video, and I feel like it's very all over the place. And honestly, being the overthinker that I am, I was even contemplating, I was like, should I even upload this? Like, is it even worth it? But I figure, you know what? I do that sometimes. I'm like, just upload it. If it can at least help one person, or I say something in this video that kind of resonates with one of you guys, it's worth it. But really quickly, I want to do a quick little update because I had a follow-up with my holistic naturopath on Friday, and it's Sunday. And I wanted to talk about how cool it was because those of you guys who have followed my journey for the past couple months, and I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to do a full-on summary of what's been going on. You can go back and watch my previous videos, but basically things are in such a good spot right now when it comes to my gut, my thyroid, and it was so cool because we were looking at everything, and like honestly, I've taken a few different supplements throughout this time, but one of the big changes I have made is just realizing that like I need to be better at taking time for myself and coming out of like that sympathetic fight or flight mode at the end of the day and just being better at stress management. And like that's what I wanted to get across in this clip, is how important stress management is. When I met with my holistic naturopathic doctor, she was showing me just like how all of my internal like health, like even organs, my heart, my brain, my liver, like all of this stuff has improved. And I haven't been taking like specific supplements for my brain, my heart, my liver, anything. Basically what it comes down to is I've just gotten a lot better at putting in the work and kind of treating like stress management like it's a job. I think sometimes like I was guilty of this before, of just always go, 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 and never really giving myself like a break or time to like come down out of that sympathetic mode. So like, for example, for me, instead of, you know, working all the way until I go to bed at night, like I'll shut off my computer at a certain time. I watch a mindless read on Netflix, or not a read, mindless watch on Netflix, and that really helps me to kind of come down. I'm also a lot better at stretching. I do yoga. I take Epsom salt baths all the time. So I've really worked in these stress management tactics, and also breath work has been really big. Anytime I start to feel myself getting kind of like riled up and uptight, I always do a lot of breath work, and like that sounds silly, but it does really make a difference. Sometimes when I'm like, you know, starting to get overstimulated, I just, you know, I breathe. I do lots of inhaling, exhaling, that physiological sigh, and that really does help me to kind of calm down and realize, okay, Lexi, it's gonna be okay. So I just wanted to share how important I think stress management is, because it's ironic that my, like everything internally has gotten so much better as I've prolonged my prep, because you would think the opposite, right? You would think like internally that some of my health markers would either like be staying the same or getting worse, because you know, essentially I'm putting more stress to my body as I go throughout prep. But it's crazy to see that in fact the opposite has happened. And I think I just credit it to, I've been a lot better at like treating stress management like it's a job, if that makes sense. So stress management, don't neglect it. Like I said, my favorite ways to help with stress, just simple things like the deep breathing, you know, winding down at the end of the day and having a mindless watch that I can watch, you know, before I go to bed, just to kind of like turn off my brain from reality. And then also yoga and Epsom salt baths daily, or either or daily usually. So that is where I want to wrap up this video, because it is, I think, a little bit longer. And again, I was thinking earlier, I'm like, should I even upload this? Is it even valuable? Is it boring? I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna upload it because I don't care. Somebody may find this video valuable, and I always just kind of want to be real, raw, honest with you guys. So this is gonna conclude the video. So thank you if you watched this far for watching. I appreciate you so very much. Let me know what you guys want to see in my next video. Sometimes I go through like dry spells and I'm like, I would love to know what you guys want to see, so just to give me some ideas. But like this video, subscribe, and wherever you are at in the world, I hope you have a great rest of your day.